Hello everyone. Welcome to the stream. I think I'm alone today here commentating. We will start soon with the Gisborne long qualifying for the Asia Cup. We have 16 drivers today on the grid. Some really fast ones. We have some outstanding ones like Pro Bono, who I think might win, but it's Gisborne, so we'll never know. It has a lot of straights. It has 4 main straights, uh, in which overtaking is fairly possible with all the slipstream you can gain. So just sticking with other drivers here is the best strategy. I think we're gonna see quite fast times, maybe even a 44 in this qualifying session. And the first out of the pit lane is Pro Bono. Let's watch on board. One driver we're not seeing right now is Mjonnington. So he was one of the title contenders so far, but he is not here right now. I think that he will not be here for the start of the race. We'll have another commentator with us shortly. Okay, so let's watch Pro Bono, who will start his first lap. Very clean through the hairpin, and now past the long back straight. Ooh, Pro Bono takes a corner cut, and that's the end of his first lap. Reggie with the purple sector 1, let's watch on board. He has a lot of traffic ahead, as Ben likes Thomas corner cuts right in front of him, I think that was. I'm not sure. Among Us Sassy Imposter takes purple, and Blaze now has the purple in sector 2. Will Reggie be able to take it? He will not. Blaze now with the purple sector 2. I think he's in front of him, so let's watch with Blaze. As Blaze goes wide immediately. Might lose him a 10 for 2. Now on the final straight and into the last corner we will go. Very clean, little bit conservative on that line. And the first time is a 45.6 by Sassy Imposter, and Blazed equals the time with also a 45.679. What will Reggie do? Reggie goes pole, a 45.6 on a 13,000th gap. Does Thistle with a 46, Geo with a 46 as well, and Among Us with a 45.7. Let's see. I think it's Pro Bono or Young. Both of them are on the lap, it looks like. Well, no. Only Young. He's now with 2 green sectors as he goes a little wide. So let's see, around the final corner, will he be able to get the ball? It's not the strongest times yet. What happens? P7 with a 46.4.
Who is on the lap right now?
I think Pro Bono is starting his hot lap after he aborted his first one.
Let me just join the stream real quick.
You can join the game.
Oh, okay, yeah. I'll do
that. Pro Bono through the hairpin. Was really early steering in here. And Young, for some reason, is choosing to continue his lap on worn softs. So he's gonna go for another hot lap right after it. I don't think that will get him, as Pro Bono goes purple in sector 1. Enters the chicane. Really clean. Going up the third straight now. Into the second hairpin. This one hoping to get a little bit as Young just stands still on track and blocks his teammate. Pro Bono still getting a decent exit, goes a little wide, loses a bit of speed there. He did get green but not purple in sector 2. Coming up to the final corner. Really clean, really nice line. He will go to the line as I think Wolf is setting a fast lap. He's purple. Pro Bono sets a 45.3. Let's watch what Wolf is doing. He's purple in sector 2, green in sector 1. As Lepre goes up to P8. Ivan to P6. Good lines. Goes a little wide, has to brake a little. Doesn't make too much. As someone else takes. Oh, he goes to P2 with a 45.5. Reggie now with the purple sector 2. Cleaned through that last corner there. And now on the straight. No, really. But Sassy Imposter improves with a purple sector 3 and is now mere thousands behind Pro Bono. Placed as well. Guan improves to P4. Let's see what Reggie does. He goes to professional pole, 45.283. I don't think there's too many people on the lap right now. Let's look at Dust Dizzle. A driver that is most times very fast, but he hasn't set a great lap yet. He's hoping to probably enter the top 10 at least.
Lepre's on 2 greens. He seems to be improving massively.
Yes, let's watch some word with him. He goes to P9.
Lepre to P9.
Still 3 10s, but not good enough to get into the top 5.
Yeah. We'll see if Pro Bono can snatch pole away from Reggie.
Yeah, might be close between the two. As I think not a lot of people out through the Ben likes Thomas through the new part of Gisborne. This part of Gisborne, the extra piece, has been added last season as an additional track and now it has replaced the standard track. So I think it's Leon in sector 3 with 2 greens. He hasn't set a lap yet, so he's probably hunting on the top 10 at least. To do that, he will have to get at least a 46.1. Tight through that last corner. Where will he go? P9 with a nice 45.9.
Two minutes left in qualifying.
Yeah. As Wolf goes purple in sector 1, he improves
Ooh,
again.
Wolf.
Will he be able to get to that top 5 and close that 1.5 tenth gap?
Yeah, and he can with his first lap. Where will he go? Up to P6.
Great lap.
from him. It's going to be very interesting to watch Wolf's lap.
Wolf doesn't
Ooh,
improve.
red sector.
But most people don't improve if they have one good sector. He had purple before, so it might not lose too much here. Let's look at Dust Thistle as he enters the final corner. No, he corner cuts.
Ooh, corner cut. Not good.
Let's go back to Wolf. As
He has
Ben.
one more lap, but he's on
Oh,
one
Dust
tire.
improves anyways to P11.
Whoa.
With a corner cut. He could have gone up to the top podium positions here.
That just shows how good his first two sectors were.
And Wolf improves to P6. Takes it back
Good
from
lap from
Jonathan.
So the top 5 right now: Reggie, Pro Bono, Sussy, Blaze, and Kuhan.
Very close, all within a tenth. Kuhan slightly out of the tenth.
But yeah, so anything can happen here. We don't know who's gonna get pole yet.
And Sussy Imposter gets professional pole.
Sussy Imposter.
Purple sector 3. He wasn't improving in sector 1. So he might have had a really good last 2 sectors. Let's see. Geo F1 currently last on the grid. Did not improve in sector 1. Did improve in sector 2. Will he take... No, he does not improve. And I think Ben Likes Thomas is on his last opportunity to get a lap in. He has 2 green sectors, of course. He has not set a time yet. He did get a little wide exit there in sector 2. Entering the final corner, right behind Blazed. Blazed hoping to get another lap in. Will he do it or will he take the flag? He does get the lap, but Ben doesn't get another lap. He goes P14. Not a great result for him. One of the championship contenders.
Lepre now on a red and a green. Yo, Young.
What the fuck?
What has he done?
Brother. He's done the Dustin
this might
trick.
need to be a red flag.
He's done the Dustin trick. Okay.
Young with his usual shenanigans.
Blazed, let's watch him. He's currently P4. Barely made the flag. Will he improve in sector 1? He will.
Ooh, Blaze could be on for something here.
Landed race.
And Sussy Imposter beats Reggie by the slightest of margins. That was a nice S's. Up the hill now. Into sector 3. So everybody has gone off their lap except for Blaze. All eyes on Blaze now. Ooh.
Little slow. It takes a little on the middle of the track instead of the outside. Yeah. Did not improve in sector 2.
We'll see what happens though.
The stress might have gotten to his head.
We have to remember, right? It's only 1/10 to pole.
It's only 1/10, but 1/10 can be a lot here in Gisborne, as most of it is just straights.
Yeah. We'll see what it is. Will it be an improvement?
He goes to pole!
Wow. Blaze with pole position of 45.212.
Great.
That's crazy.
Result by him.
Great result. It was a very consistent lap. Now we are on to the race. So, as the grid stands, it is Blazed, Sussy, Reggie.
Great result from both Trucanano, Total Racing cars. 1 and 2, they locked out the front row. So, Their team boss will be very happy with this. Their lights
Yeah.
go on. We have
3,
5
4,
lights.
5, and
And we're off. As it says that Dissel is not on track, but he is. So
he
don't
is.
worry
That
about
is a
that.
glitch.
Let's watch with the current race leader, Blazed.
Yeah. Now they're all bunching up as usual, as expected.
Let's look
We'll
at the
see what
tire
happens.
strategy. Most
Ooh, Wolf
people
goes wide.
Most people went for the medium tire. Sassy Imposter, Kuhan, and Ben went for the hards.
Yeah,
Those
we
are the
see
few
a very
outliers.
spread strategy. Blaze goes a little bit wide there.
This might not end up good for them as
Sussy.
they have a completely different pit strategy and will not have
Yeah.
any slipstream of each other, while the medium runners have like 12 drivers.
The drivers on the hards, as long as they can keep up, they should be on a better strategy, I think.
Yeah, I think because of the overwhelming amount of medium runners, they are gonna be the fastest here.
Yeah. We'll see what happens now.
Entering the
Gloss
chicane,
with the purple
one of the
sector.
most tricky parts of the track, as Wolf corner cutted that one, I think. He
Ooh,
did.
Rip Wolf.
Now
Yeah,
back
down to
into
11.
P12. Still in
Blaze,
slipstream range.
Blaze opting to not stay in the bunch. That's a good idea.
Lepre and Ben like Thomas almost out of the slipstream range already. Ben
Yeah,
exceptionally far behind, as
it just
he's.
shows that with such bunched up cars, anything can happen. Somebody goes really wide in the back.
I don't think it was the best strategy for Ben to go to the hards. He was starting in the back, and now he will have to get back somehow. 1 second in front of him, and then another 5 tenths.
Yeah, the problem is this is a majorly slip-based track, so I think the pack in front of him is just gonna pull away.
Probona and Young now in the lead. Let's watch the fastest lap. As it's
Whoa,
gonna be
Young,
set by Gio, a
Gio,
46.1.
up to 9. Let's try and remember. Gio started from, I think it was last.
He was last. He had a 46.2, I remember.
He is cutting his way through the field.
That's just how you see that the slipstream is really powerful, as he's now in a bit of a cliff, because between P8 and P9 there's a 1.1 second.
Is this the top 7 all stuck together?
The top 8, and Gio might have a lot of advantage for another fastest lap attempt here, as he is behind the
Could we
pack in
see a
slipstream
surprise
range.
upset
He might set
for
a
Gio?
unbeatable lap here,
Yeah,
unless
he
after the
has
pitting.
major slipstream.
He's now in 6 tenths, with purple sector 1 expected, of course. Let's go on board
What
with
is
him.
the pit lap? Like what is the
Oh, he
strategy?
corner cuts!
Oh,
That's his fastest lap attempt gone in the bin.
yeah.
It was looking really good for him.
If he can drop behind Leon now and stay within the slip, he still might have a chance.
Looks unlikely, as he has lost a 1.3 seconds.
Yeah, it feels like the top group is just gonna pull away. At the top, Neon is in first right now. Wow. From
One
Reggie,
I didn't
Quinn,
expect
and
to
Luke.
be in his top leading group is Ivan. He's doing exceptionally well.
Yeah, Ivan. Wow, and Young. Like
I think he is driving for Scuderia Nord.
I
And
gotta say, I'm a little bit surprised to see Young in this top group.
what has happened with Sassy Imposter? He started on P2 and now in P12.
Oh, we missed something. He probably corner cut it.
He must have had, and not one time, because 3.8 seconds is a lot. He's now,
Yeah, or maybe lag.
who knows?
As
As
we
he
all
does
know,
take as Among Us Sassy Imposter took fastest lap away from Geo.
with this track, lag is a major thing, as we saw yesterday with Andy.
No, Andy had a power issue.
Oh, okay.
But lag can spoil some things for drivers, especially on these big slip-based tracks like Nagoya and Gisborne, as we have seen
Yeah,
with some drivers like Yoto in Season 4, who just
Reggie is leading right now.
disappeared.
We'll see what happens, but where would you want to be in this pack? I wouldn't want to be first, right?
I think
Surely.
being first is actually the most ideal, as you have no one in front of you, so you can everything is clear. As Pro Bono does,
Yeah, you can see the apexes.
Pro Bono takes purple sector 1. He was a bit at the back of the pack in the start of the lap, so Blaze goes really wide. But will Pro Bono be able to improve Among Us' fastest lap attempt?
Mion seems to be in front now, but not for long, as they will all gain slip and catch up to him. Who's gonna break the
Entering the
latest?
chicane, or the hairpin. who
Ooh.
will stay ahead. I think Myankton has the better exit.
Yeah.
And then
Reggie, not the best line.
Pro Bono getting ahead. Interesting battle. Blaze now out of the slipstream range.
Yeah, it's gonna
A
be tough
good
to get a good
qualifying
time.
for both Trucanado cars, but they have a horrible race so far.
Yeah, one corner cut and your race is over.
Yeah, that's really the issue. Me as a team boss, I have told my drivers to always take the chicane conservatively. You can lose 4 tenths even, and just get back with slipstream instead of corner cutting. Your race could be over.
Yeah. Pro Bono with the fastest lap.
What was it? I didn't see.
A 144.7, I think.
144.7. We might see an improvement on that later in the race, as we
Yeah.
had in, I think it was Europe or America. We had a 44.2 from Bacon's.
If I remember correctly, the mediums should start to be dropping off quite soon.
The mediums last around 8 to 10 laps, so I think they
Yeah.
will start to pit at lap 9 or 8.
Yeah. And they will surely pit onto the hard tires. Surely no two stops.
No, 2 stops, the pit lane is around 28 seconds, which is way too long, especially with
Yeah.
all the slipstream. It's almost impossible to get back up in the top positions. You need
Yeah.
really technical circuits to be able to do it, or tracks with short pit lanes.
Yeah. Reggie is in the lead right now, but not for long, as the whole group is there. Everybody takes the corner well, no corner cuts,
And now we
through the
have
slowest part of the track.
three clearly separated groups. The one stretching from P1 all the way to P7, and P8 to P11, and the rest from P12 to P16.
I gotta
As
say, ever since Blaze corner
as
cutted, he's only been
Ben
building
Likes
ground.
Thomas has crashed. I think it was a power steering issue, and he's gone straight up, and he's the first one out of the race.
Power steering, they said, huh?
Yeah, wheel broke off after he had it was a big impact.
That's gotta be crazy
I hope
impact, yeah.
he's okay after that crash.
50 G forces.
Guan now falling a bit behind, had a slower turn one.
Young in first. No, back to Reggie.
And landed has an MGU-H failure. He's out of the race as well as he entered the pit lane. Unfortunate. A lot of mechanical issues already.
Yeah, mechanical issues seem to be a big problem around here.
Yeah, the engine can't handle all of these straights. It's too much for the most of these engines.
Yeah, and with the lower downforce setups, this is pretty much very, very engine reliant.
And Dust has a scale failure. Oh no. Okay. And the fight
Leprey is in
for
15th.
P7 continues. Everyone made it through the chicane clear and safe.
I think from now to lap to the pit stops, it's just going to be clean racing. Do you think?
As long as they don't corner cut, I think they will be alright. The biggest tip that any driver can have on this track is take every technical section. So here in sector 3 and the chicanes in sector 2, you can drop at least 2 or 3 tenths and make it back immediately with the slipstream instead of corner cutting and screwing over your entire race.
Yes. A tight battle at the front. I think it's whoever can get the slipstream, propel themselves into first, and try and stay there for the longest.
So yeah, there's only 2 hard runners left, Sussy Imposter in P13 and Kuhan in P7.
Yeah.
Kuhan might be in a lot of trouble if these medium runners pit too early. I think for Kuhan, he has to go until lap 11 or lap 12 and then pit, or somehow do some magical
Problem,
things, because he's not gonna get out of this in a
yeah,
great
the problem
position.
is Kuhan is alone on those hards, so as soon as he pits and comes out of the pits, there's going to be nobody to give him slip.
Yeah, I think he just has to follow these medium runners and maybe on a slight delay. He will probably lose the connection later on in this race. interesting battles here. I think everyone is getting through those corners safely, as expected. The lead pack still setting good times and driving. There's not much going on track right now. Everyone fighting for the lead. Pro Bono falls back slightly, down to P7.
Alrighty.
It's now a 4 wide into turn in the last turn. Does anyone
If I'm seeing this correctly, landed race is 1 lap down.
land this out of the race?
Oh,
Into turn 1.
so from P1 to P7, they're all separated by 3/10, and then P8 is 3.3 seconds behind. That is a lot for a track like Gisborne.
Pro Bono goes a little off track. A difficult corner to stay on the lane as you don't want to lose too much speed. And going slightly off track there is probably better than braking too much. Pro Bono did slightly miss the hairpin and is now a car length or two behind. But he
Yeah, but
quickly
with this
makes that
slip, he'll
back
catch
up.
right back up. I think the biggest problem is probably not seeing the apexes of the corners while there's so many cars in front.
And then Lepre closing out the field all alone in P14. Does
Yeah.
Dissel and Sus Imposter fighting for that last point position in P12 and 11.
Mian seems to have a little bit of a gap, but as soon as they go into the slowest section of the track, it will be gone.
Ivan goes ahead slightly. Will he get a better exit?
Among
Out
Us
of the
Sussy,
corner.
Among Us Imposter seems to be dropping.
Kuan will have the advantage later in these stages with the medium runners, but
Yes, with the mediums. But the question is, will the mediums matter if there's nobody there to propel them?
I do not think it will matter, as they will probably start pitting any times now.
Will we see any early pitters? No.
Not yet. Maybe the last pack might try to go for an undercut on the
Maybe
rest.
if teams have discussed in between them, between the two drivers, they might try and go for an early pit stop, them two, and then propel themselves with slip. That seems to be a major strategy around here in Gisborne.
As I hope we will see some strategy changes, then some people might be able to catch back up to that leading group.
Yeah.
As Lepre is
Is
out of the
Lepre out?
race. What
Ooh.
has happened?
I think it was a DRS failure.
His DRS. What
His
happened?
DRS would not open.
Oh, probably got the meatball flag then and had to retire the car due to
Yeah, he
technical
got a black and white
issues.
flag from his team, but they just said, let's just retire the car, save the components.
Smart decision by them. They have to save it for
Yep.
next race, as we have another long track,
Yeah.
Nagoya,
Yeah, they will need it for Nagoya.
entering sector 3. Hairpin now. Pro Bono overshoots it slightly.
Ooh.
Will get a slower entry.
Neon with
And
a
he
straight
propels
line.
forward, but loses that on the exit again.
Will we see this wheel to wheel action until the final lap of the race?
And I think Mjanningting is going for the early pit.
Oh,
Yep, he
Mianington
has
into the
sent it
pit.
into the pit lane.
Let's see what tires he will go on.
Who will pit as well? As I think is Dust, he's going into the pit lane. Blazed and as well. Blaze trying the undercut. One of the better moves for him. Dust, of course, also wanting to get back, but I think Dust is too far away. Mjannington on the undercut. He was in the lead before he pitted.
What tires has Mianington gone onto?
I
The
think he
mediums,
went
right?
to the hards. Yes,
The
that's
hard, yeah.
indeed what he
Okay.
did. The expected strategy here for all medium runners is to go to the hards. I think
Yes.
the big pack will come in next lap, as they
The
will lose
problem
too
is
much to Mjellington, and that
the
will
problem
not
is
be
now he's
great.
alone. The
Yeah,
only people
Mjellington is
behind him are
alone, so it
very
might
behind.
not matter. Maybe they all just decide to stay out for a few more laps. Mjellington's tires waste away, and they can catch back up in a big group. But
Mian is
that might
fighting
also
his
lead
internet,
for
but
other medium
it's
runners
working.
who are further down to catch back up.
Myeongjin seems to have problems with his internet, according to chat. It would be quite a shame if his internet decided to quit on him. He's such a good position.
Oh my god.
We'll see now if he can catch back up. He is 19 seconds away from the group, from Young. We'll see. Will some of them decide to come into the pits this lap?
I think the majority of the group will go into it. They all go for the white line. Young and Pro Bono, both on the same team,
And
go for it. Among Us the Imposter as well. The rest stays
Reggie,
out.
Ivan, and
Guan
Kuhan.
expectedly stays out, happy that someone is still with him.
Yeah,
That's
Kuhan will take the lead of the
beneficial for
race.
him. Geo F1 also pits. Wolf also pits in
Let's
that
see where they
second
come out
group.
compared to Mian. Mian seems to be coming up to the last corner right now. How will he take it? It all
Let's
depends
watch
on
on board as we can see the names in the pit lane. As I think the
Bono stop.
pitters are
Oh,
already out.
he has
I
to
don't think
lock up
Mjellington
immediately.
will gain his
Oh,
freedom
Mian
away from the
passed him.
pack here. The car's
And
now going to the exit of the pit lane, of course having the
he will
inside
pass
line
them.
through turn 1.
And
Mjellington, of
by
course,
turn one,
does stay ahead, but Young and Probona are right behind him. And behind him is Among Us the Imposter on a slight gap, on 1.6 seconds from each other. So if Probona and Young get too fast with Mjellington, Among Us will lose the top group lead, as Reggie and Kuhan and Ivan are still in that current top group.
Kuhan will surely be thinking to himself right now, have I made the right decision to go into these hearts to start?
For Kuhan, it's just a difficult decision. I think Kuhan has to drive 2 more laps and then pit for the mediums. I think that's the best he can do.
Yeah. Try and because if you're alone out here on this track like this, you lose a lot of time.
Yeah, the most
Myeongdong
important thing
battling
is
with
for
him.
him to just stay with that group. Will he go for an early stop? I don't think he will. He's taking a normal line. He doesn't send it. Reggie and
Reggie and Ivan
Ivan
there.
do take it. Ivan
Ooh,
shot
Ivan
himself.
hit the wall.
Yeah, I was about to say Ivan got a really good entry and then hit the wall.
A very aggressive line.
Leon
They're
also enters
returning
the
him into
pit
the
in
hards now.
P5.
Will they nail their stops or Ivan, good stop.
Ivan
Reggie,
gets a good stop. What will Reggie get? He gets it
good stop.
right as well. Nice.
The group from behind is now on the main straight, so we'll see what happens. I think they will pass them.
Let's watch on board with Pro Bono and Mjonnington as they go
Yes,
around
they are
turn 1.
passed by quite a margin.
Will they get that 1.5 second gap that everyone... yeah, they do. They have that gap.
Oh, Ivan hits the bump. Lost a little bit of time there.
Lost around 3 tenths, but doesn't matter too much as he's still right on Reggie still.
Yeah. The elite group of Pro Bono, Young, and Myanington, they seem to have a little bit of a margin.
Sassy, Imposter, and Kuan, the last 2 people out on hards, staying out. Sassy Imposter with a 16-second gap behind him, and Kuan with a 23-second gap.
The question is, will Kuhan pit? Because I think it's time. Anymore, if he stays out anymore, he'll drop a lot of time behind.
I think he might pit now.
I think he should pit now.
Will be a difficult stint for him if
Yeah,
he
on the
goes to
medium.
the mediums now, but
He will
it's
be
the best
faster
he
because of
could
the
do,
tires. He will be
as
faster because of the
staying
tires.
out a lot longer
No,
will
he's
spoil his
staying
race.
out.
He will stay out another lap.
I don't know if this is the right decision, Carson.
Yeah, this
We'll
might
see how
drop
it
him
works
a
out for
lot
him.
of time. But the beneficial thing for him is that the a group that's chasing him is not too big. It's only 3 drivers.
Yeah, and then there's a 2.8 second gap to the next group.
I think
But it won't matter
I
because
think
he'll come
the
up
best
behind
thing
behind
Kuan
all
could
of them.
do is hopefully fall into that P6 P7 fight at the moment.
Well,
Which will
looking at the times, he might fall into the P10. Might fall all the way to P10, which
let's
would
watch
not be
on
great for
board
him,
with Kuhan.
judging from where he started.
Hopefully on his last lap. Now on the major back straight.
Yes, he's on the back straight. We'll see how he takes the S's. It's important now for Kuan to not corner cut. I think if he corner cuts, he's pretty much going to be outside the top 2.
If he corner cuts, his race is over. He
Oh, he
does
put
corner
Thomas
cut,
first.
but
Thomas
it's not the minor. He does the second corner cut, which loses you around a second, and not the one that loses you 2 seconds.
Problem is now if he pits now, which he should pit now, he'll come out outside the top 10, which is a
The
big
only
problem.
thing that he can do is hopefully get a really good stint and a good exit on those medium tires. Of course, they will be faster in general on one lap solo pace,
Yeah.
but he will probably not have any slipstream. Kuan really needing to hope that he will be able to
His race
fall
is
into that
over.
group. He goes into the pit lane. Oh, he shoots us really wide. Hits the wall slightly. Not too bad. Let's see where he will exit. Sussy Imposter pitting as well. I don't think he matters the most. Let's see, where does Kuhan pit? Gets a good stop. And he will be passed by Pro Bono already. Oh, this says Kuhan's race is over. He is behind the group he was hoping to get in. Far behind. Oh no. This is not good for him. He's 4 seconds behind where he wanted to be. This is unfortunate for him. Let's go back to the currently leading group. Pro Bono, Young and Millington. The 2 XL point drivers fighting for the first position would bring a great amount of points to the team. But Millington also wanted to get that win for Ferran. Millington goes into the lead. And he did make a little mistake, so Pro Bono is already back into that first position. Let's watch on board if Kuhan can close that gap to the drivers in front of him to catch back up to Blazed in P7. He is right behind P9. Does overtake him now. Of course, those medium tires will work for him in those slower corners. Blazed still losing time to that group in front of him. Not much going on. Among Us as the imposter with its group of three drivers, still hoping to catch up to that front three drivers, and then behind him as well a pack of another four drivers. Reggie and Ivan go slightly wide, which will get Among Us a better exit now. Blazed hoping to catch the group in front of him. Kuhan with those medium tires now leading that group by a margin. Will he be able to get this group forwards? 3.1 seconds with 7 laps to go. I think Kuhan has about 4 laps to get as close as possible, and after that the hard tires will take over in pace. So he has to gain 1.5 seconds to get into that slipstream range, and then they're basically solidified into that other group. So one of those drivers in the front group making a mistake would be huge for these drivers from P7 to P10. Kuhan 2.6 as they enter another technical section of the track, hopefully gaining another few tenths. 2.4 gets a good exit is what he needed. He's carrying that group behind it completely. He's not relying on any slipstream to catch that front group. He needs to gain 8 tenths and then he's in that slipstream range. Kuhan goes super wide and loses the time he just gained. That's not great for him. At least he didn't enter the pit on accident, which has happened multiple times this season already, with some drivers losing their controls on mobile or iPad at that exact moment, which will ruin your entire race and your entire day. Now they have to gain 2.6 seconds. It's back to gaining 1.1 second for them. Not great, especially knowing those medium tires will drop off quickly. 2.5 seconds. Oh, Gio goes really wide, almost takes the outside corner cut, which will lose you about a second. It's really hard to get that corner cut unless something happens with your car. Kuan now again leading that top group. 2.4 seconds in the technical section. How much will he gain? 4 tenths. Wow. Goes a little wide, so might lose a bit on the exit. He does lose a tenth. 6 more tenths for him to gain to that leading group in front of him. That group in front of him doesn't seem to be catching the top 3 anytime soon. Still nearly 4 seconds between that group. Guan still carrying in that group end. Reminder that P10 and P11 started on P1 and P2. Blazed had the pole position with a really good time, but races are always a bit of a struggle for him, especially as he doesn't practice too much, so he got a few corner cuts and is all the way down in P10. Of course, not the greatest race for him. Guan 1.7 seconds, 2 more tenths to gain. Most likely will get that connection between now and 2 laps. 1.6. Had a really good exit from that hairpin. The hairpin is, of course, a lot easier with those medium tires, who are still kind of new. Doesn't corner cut, so that is great. He looks to be losing that group behind him a little bit, and is now on a solo mission. He's on 1.3 tenths. He will now be in the slipstream range. Will that group behind him stay with Kuhan, or will Kuhan drive away alone and connect to the group in front of him? This is the moment that can make Wolf his race and maybe get a P4 or stay down there in P8. Blaze, something happened to Blaze as he lost that group and is now in P10 with 2 seconds behind. That is not good for him. Like I said, he doesn't train a lot, so corner cuts are easy for him to make. Guan now solidified into that group. Only 5 tenths, which is hard to lose. Did Wolf get the connection with it? No. Wolf is 1.5 seconds behind. He has to do it on his own power now to get into that group. And in the front, leading 3 has nothing happened. Nothing has happened. Still all in 2 tenths of each other. Guan now fighting for P5. Ivan goes at a defensive line so that no one gets his slipstream. Reggie is falling behind a lot. What has happened to him? 6 tenths now. He has to nail this section. As Among Us is imposter corner cuts on a really unfortunate place, which will lose him nearly 2 seconds. That's the corner cut that most people are scared of getting. He's barely in slipstream range at the moment. 1.2 seconds. 1.4. That's not great for him. That group behind him will not connect as they have lost too much time in that one singular lap. .1 seconds. He's already gaining. Of course, not having that dirty air in that technical section does help you a lot. 1.3 seconds now as they go onto the main straight. He cuts it close there, but will not corner cut. He's still losing time as the leading group has extended their lead by another 4 tenths. Current tires is Kuhan on the mediums and Stas Imposter on the mediums as well. The rest is all on the hard compound. And they will all finish the race like this, logically speaking. Maybe someone like Dust or Leon will try to go for a fastest lap, but I don't think they have anyone with them. So they have to beat a 44.7 on their own, which is not the easiest to do. Guan now leading the second group. I don't think he can make, or I don't think he can close up this final group and get it back together for that podium position. It looks like he will finish in the fight for P4. That's now between 4 drivers still. As Among Us is barely in that slipstream range, hanging on there. He might lose it any second now if he... Yes, he does lose it. 1.8 seconds now. Entering that final corner, the one that many people already have made a lot of mistakes in. The gap to the lead in front is 3.8, so they have closed that lead a little bit by around 3 tenths. Not enough to get back to that group as they only have 2 laps to go after this. still leading. Let's look if anything is happening there. All of them are on the hard compound of tires. This will, if they finish like this will bring a lot of points for the XL Point team in the Asia division. They all make it through the chicane nice and easy. Regional, Ivan and Kuhan on their three of them 3.4 seconds, so they have gained another 4/10 to the leading group. Of course, they're getting slipstream of each other. I still don't think they will be able to catch up. 2 seconds seems too big of a gap. They'd have to rely on someone in the top lead and making a mistake. As I say, that Young did lose about 5/10 to the leader. He will still get the slipstream hook and will close that gap in no time. Two laps to go. Myanton with it. Really nice inside line there. It keeps on the lead. Kuan now leading that second group for that P4 finish, which will still give you a lot of points, which will help his team, as Dust is not doing great. He will only receive 1 point, as finishing P12 is the last point position. Will Pro Bono be able to win again here in the Asia division? Or will Young become a winner and or Mannington? The fight for the lead will still remain between these drivers, as I don't think they will make any more mistakes as they're on their own, and they will probably take it easy as they have 2 seconds to the group behind of them, in which they're safe. This group still battling for the P4 position as we enter the final corner and start the last lap. So it's the white flag here and 1 lap remaining. Let's look on board for this podium positions. Pro Bono now stretching ahead in the will we see any changes here in the fast left right? Myanton loses a bit and gives P2 to Young. Young goes a little off track. Both of them get through it clean and easily. No changes anywhere else so far. Down the back straight. Entering the chicane, will someone try to risk it all here? Pro Bono does lose 2 positions, but not a major amount of time. Both XL Points cars getting the slipstream now into the sector 3 hairpin. Who will get ahead? Myanton with the inside line will get the worst exit now, as the XL Points car of Pro Bono goes ahead with Young in second and Myanton in third as we enter the Young makes a mistake and loses a lot of time. That will lose him his P2 position and guarantee him the P3. Entering the final corner, going on the main straight. Who will get it? Will we see the photo finish? No, I think it's gonna be clear win from Pro Bono here. Myanton in second and Young rounds out the podium in third. Ivan, Kuhn, Reggie slows down a lot and he loses it. He goes P6. Ivan and takes P4, Kuhn P5. Among Us takes P7. And then Wolf Sussy Imposter, Geo, Blaze, and then Dust will get around to the final corner, and Leon will be the last one to finish the race. Just outside of the points here, did not have anyone to connect with due to his tire strategy, and that is everyone. Well, thank you for watching, and we'll see you in about 3 or 4 hours time for Rookie Cup. See you then.